everybody. My name is John DePietro.
And I'm Bob Zagami with the Camper Report Show.
And today I talk with the owner of a very successful campground on what their average day is like owning and managing a campground. How about you?
I've got news on a brand new program that's going to allow our well-deserved veterans a chance to become RV technicians, certified RV technicians.
Certified, very important word.
Right.
Those stories plus all the news of the week, Bob, where do we get our news?
Ben Quiegel at Woodall's Campground Magazine and Rick Kessler at RV Business Magazine.
There we go. We'll be back with those stories plus a whole bunch more right here. Where, Bob?
The Camper Report Show.
Stay with us, everyone. Hey, everybody, it's John from the Camper Report Show, and I want to introduce you to RV Mattress by Brooklyn Bedding. Now, Brooklyn Bedding will make a mattress to fit any size RV. The unit that we have in our Class C is a Brooklyn Dreamfold Hybrid. Well, we put it in a couple weeks ago. We've been on a couple trips. Sometimes I've slept in it. When I've gone out alone, my wife has slept in it. And you know what? We both had great nights' sleeps. You know, they have their own factory right in Arizona, so that gives them strict quality control. It was easy and fun to set up. You hear that? Wow. This is less than 30 seconds. So, that is luxury. Now, the thing I like best about this, there is a 120-night sleep trial. 4 months you can try this out. And guess what? It's got a 10-year warranty. We've had it for 2 weeks. Here's the reason I like it. It fits perfectly here where the old mattress was. It was easy to buy. You just go online and there's every choice imaginable, which says a lot because the RV biz has a million different sizes of mattresses. You should order it now. It's 25% off, and give yourself, your family, and anybody else who you travel with the best gift possible, the gift of a great night's sleep. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Camper Report Show. My name is John DePietro. His name is Bob Zagami. And Bob, today we've got a great combination of camping and food. And the interesting part is Mark Wahlberg owns an Airstream dealership in Ohio. And he stopped by there not too long ago to visit with his crew. I wonder if he brought any of those famous Wahlburger hamburgers. But tell us a little bit about this.
Maybe he'll build a Wahlburger next to the Airstream dealership. You know,
well, that could be.
He's a Boston kid, grew up here and very successful. Actually lived in Somerville, Mass for a while also. Yeah. And he owns an Airstream dealership out in Ohio, a very popular one. And he's been crazy about cars since he was a kid, as most of us who grew up in Somerville were. And he kind of fell in love with Airstreams and decided, well, I'll just buy one of those too. So I think you might even see him expand them in the future. He spent a lot of time with the team out there, and we might be able to see more Wahlburgers. I mean, if I was Mark Wahlberg, not that I should tell him how to run his business, I'd put a Wahlburger right in the lobby of the Airstream dealership.
Yeah, well, or every time you buy an Airstream, you get a free burger.
There you go.
That'd be a way to do it.
Get a gift certificate.
Exactly.
He says he's always stayed connected to real people, and I feel more comfortable and more at home in places like Ohio.
Well, the thing is this: more and more celebrities are becoming affiliated and associated with RVing because either they own one on their own or they're getting into the ownership aspect of it. So
do you know 2 other celebrities that have Airstreams?
I don't.
Travel trailers?
Who they might be.
Matthew McConaughey and Miranda Lambert.
There we go. We go. So all about Airstreams, all about burgers. And, burgers go good with beer. Do you know that?
Yes, they do.
Burgers go good with beer. And you know what? Here's the funny thing. Here's how we tie this all together, because no other news show in the RV industry does what we do. We ties
all three stories together.
So here's what we're doing. You go buy an Airstream, okay? And then you take that Airstream and you stay at a KOA. Now, before you stay at a KOA, you stop at Wahlburgers and you get a couple of their hamburgers. But when you go to KOA now, you can get a brand new beer called Happy Camper IPA, because our friends at KOA are cooperating with a Montana-based brewery to brew a special beer that will be sold only at KOAs. Talk about that interesting thing.
I think we can assume that Toby O'Rourke likes beer because she formed a partnership with Meadowlark Brewing.
No relation to Meadowlark Lemon.
It was going through my head when I read that. I said, Meadowlark, I know a guy that played basketball with that.
Yeah.
But she has announced, and both of these are very popular Montana businesses, and come up with a formula called Happy Camper IPA. It's going to be sold at selected KOA campgrounds, so you won't even have to go outside the campground to get it, and some other places in Montana. And I'm not sure that we'd see it in Boston or Florida.
Probably
you never know, but great picture of Toby sitting on top of a stack of beer cans. Quite a bit different than the way Bud Light had pictures of people on their beer cans.
Right, but we're not a political show.
We're not a political show,
so we're not going to
talk about Bud Light.
Anything about that. Okay. Right. Now, there's one other thing that we could mention here. Maybe we can introduce Wahlberg to Toby O'Rourke, and they can have Wahlburger hamburgers at select KOAs, and maybe they will brew that beer to make available at Wahlburgers. Then it'd be a total.
I don't know if any of the Wahlburgers serve. They must serve liquor.
Yeah, I'm sure they must.
They got one right outside Fenway Park. They certainly wouldn't put a food establishment in there that didn't have beer.
Right. Okay. So now let's talk about another triumvirate, 3 well-known companies that have come together to create something. Earth Cruiser, Hummer, and General Motors. Now, everybody knows that Hummer is a General Motors brand, but they've come out with a new unit that is not only looking totally different, but it's on an electric, it's on an EV. Now, talk about that, because that throws a whole bunch of new opportunities in for mergers here. Not mergers, but combination.
It's going to be an interesting collaboration, because Earth Cruiser is a very expensive off-road vehicle manufacturer. I mean, 6 figures and way up there. Yep. So they get the collaboration with GMC, but the total responsibility is going to be Earth Cruiser. So they're getting the expertise from GMC, and of course the Hummer body. So this device, the RV itself, some of those components will be available to people who have a regular RV. However, the new one will not burn a single drop of gasoline, because it's going to be on the ERV chassis. And they are known for overland camping. And again, we see this more and more, that some manufacturers are making products that kind of tipping their toes into the oval. If they're not fully into it, as some of the van chassis are, they're tipping their toes into it with a model that they want to start to introduce out there. This is going to be a very interesting one, but it will not be sold through GM dealers or Hummer. It won't even be sold through Hummer dealers. It will be going through the Earth Cruiser, and many of those Earth Cruisers are custom made to begin with. But it's an interesting collaboration where they didn't have to worry about getting an electric vehicle when they had the expertise from General Motors available to them.
Well, the interesting details of this, it's going to have 3 engines, 3 motors. I shouldn't say 3 engines, but 3 motors, because Teslas usually have 2, one run the front, one to run the back. This is going to have 3. But the very interesting aspect, as an EV owner myself, that I was able to look, is that they say that this is going to have a range of 300 miles. Now, that is absolutely amazing for any size vehicle, let alone an SUV that can also be used as a camper. And when you look at this, we'll obviously show you a picture as we talk about it. But as you look at this vehicle, this is totally integrated into the body of the Hummer. It's not just a tent add-on. So many of the vehicles today, they just have these things that they hook up onto a roof rack, and they're an expandable bed. But this is going to be very interesting, especially with that 300-mile range.
Well, it is, because Hummers in general are very heavy vehicles, by nature, and then adding all this other stuff, you got quite a weight, a load bearing
Absolutely.
vehicle there. So 300 would be significant.
Yep. So we'll see what happens. We've got a whole bunch of new stuff coming on. Plus, we've got the situation in Florida, which we'll be watching and we'll tell you about in next week's show. If you own an RV and you're in the great state of Florida right now, depending upon where you are, you could be in trouble or you could be okay. But we will have the Florida update for you on next week's show. And
especially with RV dealers too, because
right.
the way it came
Absolutely.
across, it came above Tampa, or it's right now it's coming above Tampa, and there are a lot of dealers there in that area. It's going to head up towards Jacksonville and into South Carolina. We've got dealers along that path. So far, knock on wood, we have not heard any stories of dealers being impacted just yet.
Okay, so there it is. It's the Camp Report Show, and it is done in conjunction. I was going to say cooperation. There'd be a new word, co-junction. Cooperation with our friends. Where, Bob? What are those two companies?
RV Business and Woodall's Campground Magazine.
Stay with us, everybody. We got two great stories for you.
All right, welcome back, everybody, to the Camper Report Show. And I got a special guest today. We haven't had her on for a while, Stephanie Henson, the Director of Administration at the National RV Training Academy down there in beautiful downtown Athens, Texas. So, Stephanie, welcome back to the show.
Thanks, Bob. Thanks for having me back today. I appreciate it.
Well, there was the announcement over the last couple of weeks that there was a major announcement regarding U.S. veterans, the work that you do at the Academy, but trying to put all the red tape together and come up with a program that would make it eligible for veterans to receive training. And of course, when we talk about training in the RV industry, we want to see more RV technicians. So not focusing too much on the curriculum, but talk about the process, because I know it was a long process and you were doing other things down there.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We're very excited that we could say it's done, but really the better way to describe this is we're just getting started. Several years ago, back in 2017, is when the training academy was first established. And because the owners of our school, two of which are veterans, Mr. Anderson comes out of the Air Force and Mr. Cooper comes out of the Army, we wanted to help veterans like them, like a lot of the people that are getting started into this industry, have a way to use the benefits that they have coming out of the military services to go to school and to learn a new career. And we had a lot of people asking, but when we were first started, we didn't qualify, obviously, because we're a brand new school. The process to become an approved school to accept VA benefits is very lengthy, and that's for good reason, right? They want to make sure that schools are established, that they've got good processes, and that all the paperwork is taken care of and everything's on the up and up.
Right.
So we started looking into what the requirements are, and we started pursuing that. In 21, we accomplished the first big hurdle, which was that we were able to get approved here by the state of Texas through the Texas Workforce Commission, which is our state approving agency here in the great state of Texas. So we had to accomplish that first, maintain that status for 2 years, and then we were eligible to apply through the Texas Veterans Commission, which is the state approval agency for the VA here in Texas. I know that our press release kind of focused on Texas, but we are approved as a training provider for all students across the United States that want to come and use their military, specifically veteran education benefits, to go through one of our programs that we offer.
So any veteran in any state, now, does it have to be a state that has a reciprocal program similar to the Texas Workforce Commission? Or they can be any place because you've got the program, so they just have to get to your program?
That's right. So the veteran, they know what they want to pursue education wise, and they find a program, a training provider that is approved to offer education to veterans. And then they make the arrangements to get to that school and take their classes. So that's what we've been working on. We have students already several years up leading to this. We have students that come from all over the United States to come and take classes with us. It's not just Texans. In fact, the majority of our students are out of state people. So they can come here regardless of whether there's a program in their home state that also is a VA approved facility. In fact, there's 2 schools, I think, in Florida that already have that designation, but we have Florida residents that will choose our school just because they would like our program maybe over what is available there. So yes, sir, anybody from all over the United States can come over here.
And I think that's an important statement that you just made, that they can choose the school that they want, so that it makes the importance of the curriculum, the establishment of the facility, how long they've been doing it, and how long have they been doing it with non-veterans for a veteran looking at it. And you've certainly well established, you're one of the best known training facilities in the RV industry, and that's without some of the work that we know we could do for veterans.
Yeah. Yeah. So just imagine in a couple of years from now, what kind of reputation that we're going to have, because now we're going to be able to accept all the veterans to be able to come through our school. And no matter whether they come as a veteran or as a regular, non-veteran, we want them to succeed in whatever goals it is that they have post graduation. But we've had a lot of students that have come over the years that were veterans that had available benefits that they wanted to use. And even though we were not approved, they chose to go ahead and come to our school and pay privately because they knew the quality of the education they were going to have when they graduated.
Well, it's really exciting from a couple of standpoints. I actually work with some veterans groups here in Massachusetts. One of my best friends runs the Lexington, Mass veterans group, and I've given presentation to them about the RV industry and talked to them about the opportunities in the industry, but didn't have a specific veterans program that they could then tag on to. So there are a lot of groups like that around the country that almost every city has one, and
Yes.
it starts to get down to them and they know that that's available, then they check it out. And then having the VA financing and the VA programs are some of the best in the country. I mean, I took advantage of them when I got out of the service in '66, and the myriad of options that they have, and the fact that you can hire a veteran who is disciplined, is well trained, knows how to finish a job, doesn't make excuses for having it. I mean, at this point in our RV industry, this is a great marriage of opportunity for these people, because it's not just a training program. This is a career. We know that this is a career, and you're already training people for a career in RV technicians and RV inspections. This is just another, cherry on the pie, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We have dealerships and mobile or service centers that reach out to the school all the time asking us to hire our graduates. I have one here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area that specifically all they hire are veterans. And so I know that as we're able to graduate more veterans out of our program, we're going to see the quality of the individual who works in this industry rise. And I just think overall, it's going to help our industry grow and become more stable with these types of individuals working among our teams.
Talk about NRVTA a little bit, because it's important that we get the message out about veterans and the opportunities in the RV industry. But you built a powerhouse training center down there in the Big Red Schoolhouse, and we'll put some pictures in, and we'll put your contact information. But talk about the entity overall and what you have down there.
Sure. So I love to tell people that we never started out thinking we would be a college. It's happened over time. We used to focus mostly on training individuals who have an RV and want to learn more to be able to take better care of their RVs, So they're not stranded somewhere, not able to put a slide in, whatever. And over time, we worked with industry professionals to develop curriculum that we could offer training programs that lead to certifications as RV technicians, RV inspectors. And today we are a trade school here in the state of Texas. We offer 4 different programs for technicians and inspectors, with other programs that will be coming soon. We try to focus on anyone who wants to work in the industry. So we've got people that maybe want to work for a dealer in their service shop. But we really specialize and have a lot of influence over the individual that wants to own their own mobile business. So this is going to be someone who has maybe never owned a business before, and wants to start their own mobile service tech business. We offer guidance on that while we're going through the technical training with them, so that when they leave, they feel supported and empowered that they too can do this. We have a great network support system for them after they have become certified through the sister organizations, the Tech Association and the Inspector Association. But most of our students are here for a career change.
And I think that's an important part of the program, Stephanie, that you're not just teaching them how to turn a wrench or how to be a good mechanic. If you don't have an understanding of business principles and how to make a profit and how to hire people, how to fire people, how to do your marketing and your advertising, right, you put that into the mix so that they're not jumping off the end of a pier once you give them the graduation certificate and saying, goodbye, have fun, I hope you make it. But you're pretty structured program. I think that's critical, especially with the veterans programs, because a lot of our veterans need a little bit of that. They've got the basic business skills, tie that together with the technical aspect of it, and it's a great all-around program.
Yeah, we think so too.
You're onto something, and whatever we can do to help out and keep that word going, we'll certainly do that. Our guest this morning is Stephanie Henson, Director of Administration at the National RV Training Academy in Athens, Texas. We'll put the contact information, the websites. I know you were busy and we had to squeeze this thing into your schedule, so I'm going to let you go back to work, but say hello to everybody down at the Training Academy.
I will. I will. Thank you for being a big supporter of ours, Bob. We greatly appreciate it very much.
I want to get that out. Thanks, Stephanie.
All right. Thank you.
Everybody, we are here at Bayley's Camping Resort. We are in Scarborough, aka Old Orchard Beach, Maine, and we're talking with Galen Bayley. And you know, he's the owner. And so many times when you talk about campgrounds, you talk about, well, what do campers like? What do campers get to do? What do campers get to eat? Where do campers get to go when they're here? But let's change the table a little bit. Let's talk about a day in the life of a campground owner. So we'll let you say hello first before we ask the first question.
Hey everyone, how are you?
Okay. So Galen, I just combined your name, Balin. Okay. So Galen Bayley.
I've heard worse.
You know, it's the middle of the summer. Yep. It's a Saturday.
Yep.
It's just before the massive check-ins start. We've got massive checkouts going on behind us. But people might not know all the other things that go on to make this campground run as smoothly as it has for 53 years.
Yep.
Give us, if there's such a thing as a normal day in the life of a campground owner. How about your day so far?
Well, today is a great example of a big turnover day. So things that I have to think about, make sure is orchestrated correctly throughout just the morning is half of our rental fleet is being turned over today. So we're looking at 26 cabins and trailers that need to be checked out by 11 a.m. my cleaning crew needs to be in them and be done by 3 p.m. So 26 units in 4 hours need to be turned over for the next group of families that are coming in today.
Okay, and that's a little bit different than a campsite, because otherwise, basically, somebody's just rolling their trailer out.
Yeah, I mean, your typical campsite takes about 5 minutes or less. You just got to rake it up, empty out the fire pit, make sure the picnic table is stable, and that's about it. With the trailers and cabins, everything needs to be head to toe clean, disinfected, stocked up, and ready to go for the next family.
So a lot of these people, obviously, most of them are people that don't own their own unit, and they might be camping for the first time, and that impression that you make on them is so vital for the first time, right, Galen?
Absolutely, and that's another reason why we keep our rental trailers for 2 years maximum. We sell them off, so chances are you're either in a brand new unit or a 1-year-old unit, which still seems to be brand new. With the great cleaning services that I have, get a lot of compliments on the trailers even in year 2.
Okay, that's just one aspect. Another aspect.
Yeah, another aspect, as you can see, we're sitting on these golf carts, and we have about 110 that we rent out to the customers, and a good chunk of them on a Saturday or Sunday do come back. So again, they're due back by 11 a.m. and I've got 1 to 3 guys that will be over here in
cleaning
the
them up.
bay. They're cleaning head to toe and refueling and getting it ready for the next people by 2 p.m.
Okay, again, another time where you might get somebody renting the cart for the first time.
Yep.
You don't want to give them a cart that's out of gas,
Right.
or has the other person's residue in it.
Yeah. It's very important with the appearance to make sure, these golf carts are great golf carts, and you want to keep them that way.
Okay. Food service is another area that's so important. We had breakfast this morning. We're talking with a family at the next table that comes from the other side of Massachusetts, almost on Cape Cod. And the husband explained to me that he used to camp here with his parents.
Yep.
You've got so many legacy campers here. You're doing something right.
Yeah. We are definitely into the 3rd generation of campers here throughout the years, and I'm starting to see newborns being the 4th generation at this point. So it's quite a cool experience to be able to offer that as a yearly family vacation for all these families here.
It's funny you mentioned newborns, because I've seen 3 or 4 people in tiny little strollers that it looks like this is their first camp out.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we got a couple seasonals that have had newborns, but I'm seeing more and more strollers the last couple of years. Definitely a generational thing. That the new generation is camping, and a lot of them are quite young too.
Yeah, so much younger demographics than when your dad and grandparents were running the show.
Yep.
Do they bring any different challenges? Isn't the right word, but do they have different needs?
Yes and no, depending on if they've had experience camping with their family in the past, with their grandparents or parents over the years. If they're brand new to camping, there's a lot for them to learn from the unit that they bought and how to use it, up into the camping etiquette itself. Just little rules like, being nice to your neighbors, just little things like that go a long way to make the camping experience a lot better for everyone. And some of it's a learning curve for some of them, but all in all, it's not really any challenges as you didn't want to say, but it's a great generation to start seeing get in here, and they're pretty energetic. Definitely demanding on things like having a high definition cable or high speed Wi-Fi throughout the resort.
Okay.
That's definitely more important nowadays.
Whereas their parents would come with no TV and just sit by the campfire.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, as far as training staff into the Bayley way of doing things, how do you continue to provide the same level of service? Because obviously, as the owner, you can't be everywhere at every time.
It's very important having managers, supervisors of each department that you can trust. They are your second pair of eyes at all times throughout the day. Another big thing is trying to keep seasonal people year after year. So it's certain demographics like high school kids, college kids, and maybe semi-retired people that aren't dependent on a year-round job, and this fits their schedule every year. So having them come back as well and kind of be the veteran leadership in a department to be able to teach any of the new people is a big important thing. How
big are you guys into work campers?
We are at about for couples or singles work camping sites. So we're not too big into it, but we do like the experience of having them as well.
Describe what that entails if there's people that are interested in that.
Yeah, so with work camping for us, we do try to look for couples and full-time 40 hours a week. And keep in mind it's really the 40 hours is for the 10 weeks in the summertime. Outside of that, in the spring and fall seasons, we can be a little bit more flexible and scale back a little bit. But we generally look for full-time couples at first, and then we'll make our adjustments if we're not able to fulfill that position.
Okay. Programming. When I checked in yesterday, we were given a list, a double-sided sheet of paper with activities from 10 o'clock in the morning to 10 o'clock at night.
Yep.
How do you continue to provide activities that kids and young adults have an interest in?
Being creative, exploring, listening to new ideas. I have a great manager that runs the activity department, and over the last couple of years since she's taken over, she's brought a lot of new ideas, modern ideas. So, we've got some activities that we've had around for years, especially the pool pole plunge that we do over the pool, where it's kind of a gladiator style battle on a big PVC pipe over the pool. But to modern new things like sensory bottle making, and it's just just making bottles with all kinds of sparkles, glitter, gems inside, and it's it's a modern thing that kids are doing in school, and kids really love to do. So just coming up with new ideas or looking at other successful ideas and implementing them into the program is what keeps it fresh, wanting the kids and adults coming back.
Okay. And if the weather is not cooperating, that whole list goes out the door.
We do have a rainy day alternative. We've got 4 different versions, and we've had to use them pretty heavily this year. So we're able to come inside. We've got a couple areas that are under a roof or inside a building that we can continue to do the activities all day and keep people entertained while the weather's not so nice.
Yeah. Food service is a very important aspect of your business here. You've got 2 or 3 different facilities that serve food,
Yep.
and sometimes till 10 o'clock at night.
Yep.
How do you keep that operating smoothly and with good, not wholesome food, because you don't eat wholesome food at a campground, okay?
Yeah.
We're not doing salads, and
Right.
but how do you keep an eye on that?
Well, getting good management is definitely the priority, but we do lean heavily on the J1 visa program, where we're able to hire college students from around the world. So this year we've got Bulgaria, Thailand, and Jamaica, and they come here to see the USA for the first or second time and work for up to 3 to 4 months. And when they get here, their mentality is that they want to work. So we're able to really plug in holes and get dedicated workers who are going to be able to be trained and put out consistent food and keep people happy.
Consistent.
Yes.
That's key, isn't
That
it?
is very key, and it's not easy when, especially in the food industry, getting people to be able to cook the same thing and have to train them every year, new people every year. So it's definitely one of the tougher aspects of the campground.
Okay, as I said earlier when we began, in 1970, when this facility first opened, it was opened by your grandparents, and this morning when we were having breakfast, a lady was sitting at the table next to us and said, "Do you have everything you need?" And I said, "Do I know you?" She said, "My name is," and said that her and her husband started the place. I said, "You must be Galen's mom." She said, "I'm Galen's grandmother."
Yeah.
So grandma's still here. She's active as ever. I guess she's here every day.
Yep.
Does that put extra pressure on you to make sure you're doing it the family way?
Yes. Absolutely. Yes.
No hesitation.
But that's a pressure or expectation that I want to have on me. I don't want to feel like things are going well just for one season and become complacent. I feel like that can be a natural thing for anyone, and having that person kind of being over your shoulder is something that will definitely keep you going, making sure that you're always putting your best foot forward and providing the best quality experience.
So she doesn't butt in, but she will tell you if you're a little off base.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's I don't know, maybe 3 to 4 phone calls a day.
Oh, 3 or 4 phone calls a day. Whatever. So we want to thank you so much. Again, the traffic is starting to build up. People are leaving and people are arriving, and you've got a busy day, a few more weeks of the summer. And then what do you do? What do you do on October 16th, the first day that you're closed? Outside of exhale?
It's a catch-22 situation. It's after a long season, we pack so much business into a 6-month season that you're excited that the season's come to an end and you can kind of take a breath. But it also means that the nice weather and the busyness, the activity is coming to an end, and winter's upon us. So it's a love-hate thing. But all in all, it's a nice collective sigh of relief that, hey, we made it through another successful season, and we're able to start marching forward to the next year.
Yeah. You don't go camp somewhere else that's open for a few more months.
I actually started that tradition a couple of years ago with my kids.
What do you do?
So a couple of years ago, I had a friend who got married in Kansas, so we took a motorhome out to Kansas and did that for a week. And last year, went down to our friends at Normandy Farms in Foxborough, Massachusetts, and stayed a weekend down there. And it was one of the warmest weekends in the fall, and ended up going to the Patriots game on Sunday. So my boys and my wife had a great time, and it's nice to do the other side of it right after the season too. Be a customer instead of the management or owner, and experience it from the other side, and see how well other facilities operate.
Great. Hey, camping is on the upswing, and everybody's having a great time, and we want to thank you for taking time from your amazingly busy schedule to talk with us today.
Thank you very much.